warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Okay, in this video I will explain about reading. One way that we can speak with a good pronunciation is reading. Before that, I will read book Informal Speaking chapter 83, Mr. and Mrs. DiCarlo. But I'm so sorry because I will drop a handphone because my book is in Palembang, and because yesterday I suddenly come home Batu Raja, planned only for a week. But you also know the current conditions. Okay, I will read Mr. and Mrs. DiCarlo. Mr. and Mrs. DiCarlo. Mr. and Mrs. DiCarlo live in an old Italian neighborhood in New York City. They speak a little English, but usually they speak Italian. They read the Italian newspaper, they listen to Italian radio programs, they shop at the Italian grocery store around the corridor from their apartment building, and every day they visit their friends and neighbors and talk about life back in the old country. Okay, Mr. and Mrs. DiCarlo are upset about their son, Joe. He lives in a small suburb outside the city. He speaks a little Italian, but usually he speaks English. He reads American newspaper. He listens to American radio program. He shops at big suburb supermarkets and shopping malls. And when he visits his friends and neighbors, he always speaks English. In fact, Joe speaks Italian only when he calls his parents on the telephone or when he visits them every weekend. Mr. and Mrs. DiCarlo are sad because their son speaks so little Italian. They're afraid he's forgetting his language, his culture, and his country. Okay, I will answer the questions. Page 84. I'm so sorry. Number 1. What's the answer? Number 1. Where do Mr. and Mrs. DiCarlo live? Mr. and Mrs. DiCarlo lives is an old Italian neighborhood in New York City. Okay, number 2. Where does Joe live? He lives is in a small suburb outside the city. Number 3. What language do Mr. and Mrs. DiCarlo usually speaks? Usually they speak Italian. Number 4. What language does Joe usually speaks? He usually speaks English. Number 5. What do Mr. and Mrs. DiCarlo read? They read the Italian newspaper program. Number 6. What does Joe read? He reads American newspaper. 7. What do Mr. and Mrs. DiCarlo listen to? They listen to Italian radio programs. 8. What does Joe listen to? He listens to American radio programs. 9. Where do Mr. and Mrs. DiCarlo shop? They shop at the Italian grocery store around the corridor from their apartment. 10. Where does Joe shop? He shops at big short-term supermarket and shopping malls. Okay. In the second, which word is correct? Mr. Di Carlo read or reads the Italian newspaper. Read. Mr. Di Carlo shop or shops at the Italian grocery store. Shop. Number 3, they live or lives in New York. Live. Number 4, Joe live or lives outside the city. Lives. Number 5, he speak or speaks English. Speaks. Number 6, Mr. and Mrs. Di Carlo listens to radio. Listen. They visit or visits their friends every day. Visits. 8. Their friends talks about life back in the old country. Talk. 9. Joe calls his parents on the telephone. Calls. 10. Joe's friends speak or speaks English. Speaks. Okay, I think that's enough. See you in the next video. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.